Hi friends, it's Sarah, the owner and maker behind Multifarious Nature. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you guys are new viewers, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, big welcome back. I'm glad you guys are here for another episode and the last episode of the Great Guts Adventure from MellyKnits Advent. So we're going to card it up. I cleaned off the carder again. Apparently not very well. I see a little fuzz ball that I missed. There we go. We'll go over today's blend, which I'm super excited about. I did already open up a chunk of it, and I know what the mix-in is here as well, and I'm really excited. Melissa of MellyKnits really picked an excellent ending day. Super fun way to round it out. So I'm going to show you here what it is. So day 12 is burn pile wool from a small backyard flock in British Columbia, sheared by her husband with 5 recycled Sari silk, 5 grams of recycled Sari silk. So if you guys aren't familiar with Melissa of MellyKnits, she does hand-processed wool, bats, and sometimes just the raw wool. She started with burn pile, and burn pile is like backyard flock sheep, where wool is looked at as a byproduct, where maybe they're like pet sheep, maybe they process the sheep, the lamb, the meat, and they have to shear them every year. So it's just something that they have to do, and so they don't look at it as a means of income. A lot of farmers don't, or small holding farmers. And I just thought how perfect that her last day is how she started, which I think is so cool. It was really special. And as someone who also processes small flock sheep and things of that nature, I really appreciated that. And I love the recycled Sari silk that she put with it. So I'm going to show you guys. It's going to be a bear to clean my drum carder, but I think the way that I do it hopefully will help it remain as clean as I can. So here is the fleece picked, and it is really pretty. There's a little bit of just a touch of light dandruff in there. Again, not a big deal. It'll probably come off as it's carding, and I've worked with dandruff before in sheep. It's very normal. And I've opened it all up. It's super fluffy, really nice medium wool. Really, really nice. And here's what the locks look like. So I'll put a little Sari silk got on there. But you can see they're nice. It's a very tight, very a little bit chunky, but really nice little locks. You can kind of see maybe some of the crimp in there, but very springy and bouncy, so it really takes up a lot of space. So it's going to be a very airy yarn, which is nice, especially if it's woolen spun, which is the prep that we're making. So it's perfect and really easy to open. So the tips, some of them are just slightly kind of, you can see that. Hopefully that will focus. But they're like they're really easy to open up though. Just go like that and it opens right up. And it's very forgiving. It's not a fine wool, so you can be more aggressive with it, and it's totally fine. And we're just gonna open this across, and voila, we are nicely opened. And we're gonna go ahead and put like a thin layer on, similar to what we've done with some of the other pretty unique mix-ins. We're going to do that so that hopefully we can kind of trap that Sari silk in there. I'm going to show you the Sari silk before I forget. This is what it is. Beautiful, like coppery orange, deep orange color, and then all the little Sari bits of color in there as well, which is going to make it a fun kind of chaos blend and really fun. Super pretty and such a nice complement to the dark. So I'm excited to see what that looks like. I did catch her live, so I did kind of see how it's going to look, which it's really pretty. And I just, first of all, want to say I'm going to go through this, but if Melissa does watch this, I just wanted to say thank you so much for the Advent. It was really beautiful, really fun. I've learned so much. I feel a lot more confident now going into different breeds and different mix-ins because of the experience I had with this event. And it has just been such a nice thing to work on during a rather hard season. So I really, really appreciate that. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this as well. So without further ado, let's start adding this in here. So this is all now opened up, and I'm just going to put it on nice and thin. Put a nice thin layer. Spread it all the way across. I hope you guys have something cozy to drink, sip on, or cool, depending on where you're at. It is nice and cold here. We just refilled our wood pile because it's going to be like 0 degrees on Sunday, and it is like a whopping 4 degrees is our low, I think, tomorrow. 4 degrees Fahrenheit, so nice and cold. So we're having a very nice, cozy, consistent fire in our fireplace, which is wonderful, and I really appreciate that we have that. Okay, so I'm putting my nice little layer here. You'll see how it just kind of takes to it, and then sometimes it's so fluffy that it's not getting real compacted on there. So I'm definitely going to want to make sure that I am doing that compacting throughout. And I think I'm going to do similar to what did yesterday even, and just open up the Sari silk and spread it across and do the, like, what does she call it? Charcuterie board. That's right, charcuterie boarding. the wool, do a little bit of wool, do some of the Sari silk, and just keep on doing that to get a nice layer. So let's get this on here and do a little bit more of our bit there. See, she did mention it's going to be a bear to clean off the drum carder. So my hope is by putting a little bit of wool, a little bit of Sari silk, my hope is that it will be easier to clean. I don't think it's going to be easy, that's for sure, but hopefully it will be easier. All right, let's do another nice charcuterie board layer here. So a little bit of wool, then Sari silk, spread it across. And then again, more wool. So I hope you guys have learned a lot from this too. I hope you had a really fun time. I know I did, and I really enjoy any comments you guys made, and just I really appreciate that you took the time. That means so much to me. And then interacting by leaving comments, liking, subscribing, that all helps me so much. So thank you. I really appreciate it, and does not go unnoticed, that's for sure. So, as you can see, getting a little bit of chaos going on here. I'm just going to take the brush and compact it in there. Put some more Sari silk and the wool. And we'll try doing a layer where I start with the Sari silk and then do a thin layer of wool, and then more Sari silk. I love this color too. I really love burnt orange. I think it's the prettiest color. And if you guys follow my podcast, you will see that I am also working on a burnt orange sweater right now, and I just love it. if you aren't following the podcast, I definitely recommend checking it out if you're into wool, any type of wool processing, seeing hand knits. I definitely do hand knitting and spinning. So hope you're here for it. I would think you are if you're watching this, or at least you're curious, and hopefully it's piqued your interest enough that you are curious to keep watching and following along. I don't know if I'll be fortunate enough or able to purchase one of Melissa's Advents next year, but I really hope I can, because I usually try to purchase from different sellers, but I just really love her Advent. It's just been such a wonderful experience. And as I mentioned, it's so much, the experience is so rewarding and you get so much out of it. Where, not saying other Advents aren't nice too, but having one where you can experience the making the bats and then spinning it, the yarn, and then also then knitting with it. And like I said, it's kind of something that's going to last a while, because I'm not spinning this yet because I am working on my Multifarious Nature Advent. So I'll be spinning this. Either I will save it to spin, which I doubt, because I really want to spin it. But otherwise, that would be an option. I could save it and then spin it next Christmas, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. I really would like to make a project with it. And I kind of, that's the one thing I liked about True North I did last year. Now, True North, I spun it up so I could do the knitting for New Year's. So maybe for New Year's, I will do spinning. However, I have to catch up with the spinning of my Multifarious Nature Advent. That one I'm catching up on, because there was I just haven't had a lot of time to spin lately, so I just haven't gotten caught up on it, which I would really like to. So I feel like I need more wool at this point, so I'm going to put another layer of wool in, just so I really get a nice layer of wool. And you can see how it's getting into that liquor in, though, so I'm going to have to really be diligent about cleaning that out after I'm done. Okay, so we're going to do our last bit of our silk and our wool. Get that layer on there. A little bit more wool. Here we go. And the last bit of silk as well. There we go. And I'm going to put this through, and then we'll take this last bit of wool and put it on. There we go. So the thing about the burn pile is we do not know what breed it is. Now, just based off of my own little bit of experience with wool, I'm trying to think of what it could be. I'm not sure. It reminds me a little bit of Polypay a little bit, I think. I feel like a little bit of Polypay, but then again, it also has, I don't know, it's a fascinating texture to it. There we go. I would say that's the majority of our Sari silk. There we go. All right. We're going to stop this. There we go. Look how cool that looks already. And that's not very blended yet. So it's going to become even more incorporated here. Let's get that off. Here's where things might get interesting when I'm putting it through other passes when it comes to the silk. Hopefully it will not get like super gunked into the carder. It's not the end of the world, but I do want to make sure I can clear it off. Go. Nice. Go. Cruising. We're cruising now. So I'm going to do my usual where I split it into quarters and then open it up so that I can get it distributed the best I can. And each quarter I will open up and feed into the drum carder. Using my handy little knitting loom hook to get this off. It works so well. If you have a drum carder and you don't have a I think it's called a doffer? I think that's the technical term. If you don't have one of those, I think a lot of drum carders might come with it. Maybe. My husband built mine, so it doesn't come with that. But I think most do. But if they don't, this is really handy, and they're really inexpensive. So there you go. All right, we're gonna open this right up here and feed it onto our drum carder. Again, for another pass, I'm going to try to open it as wide as I can. Again, this is where things are going to get sketchy. Hopefully there's enough wool there to like keep that sari contained, but you just never know. And let's feed that slow-ish. There we go. Drinking my nice spiced hot cider again. It's such a comfort. Did our chores with the sheep and everything, and cleaning the bird house for our chickens. They don't really come out of their hut at the moment because it is so cold. So they go into their run, but they really don't venture outside. They're probably wishing they could, but it's just so cold. It's been under 30 degrees for the past week or so, so they just don't really want to go very far. Just can't blame them. I will probably do 3 passes with this one. I think I said that. Maybe I didn't say it. Yeah. Nice. And 2 more. Okay. Trying to open this up really thin, which, as I showed you guys, it's kind of hard for that to happen because it just springs back on itself so much. Which is why, like I said, it's kind of similar to Polypay. It's not super soft. It's definitely a medium. But I think Polypay is usually always white. I have quite a bit of Polypay, and it is a cream color, like a white. So I don't think that's what it is, but I don't know what it is. Fascinated by it, though. Makes me want to go through my fleece and fiber source book and try to figure out what it is. Or I should say what I think it is, because I'm not going to get a definitive answer. Okay. Excellent. All right. Let's get that to a point where I can take it off. Beautiful. You can already see how it is getting more mixed. Ah, there we go. That's what I was thinking was going to happen. So you can see the Sari silk. Maybe can't because my hand's in the way, but you'll probably see there's more of it on the Carter now than there was that first pass. And it's because as I opened it, some of that Sari silk got down in there. Just, it's fine, but it is going to be a bit of a bear to clean. So hopefully I can get most of it off in the bat. Get that next piece here. Okay. Go. Nice. Okay. Get down in there. Try to get as much of it off. As you can see, that Sari silk is definitely down in there. I'm sure you can see some of it here. Oh, that's in there. But at least I'm getting most of it off. So hopefully when I do that cleaning, it will not be a total disaster to get off. But these are the moments where I go, why do I have 120 TPI? All right, so that's 2 passes. I'm definitely going to do one more pass, but then it'll be a fun textured bat, and it will be very evenly distributed. So this is pretty good for a fun texture, but one more pass, I think, is definitely due. Get that going. Okay. I do have a Vlogmas episode I'm going to record after this, so hopefully you guys will join me for that. It's where I have my festive decor around me as I do my podcast, and it's just fun for the season. It looks really good. I mean, it looks like a nice even distribution of all the little bits. This is going to be a fun texture. I'm excited to see how it spins out. I'm not excited to clean my car, but I am excited to see how this spins up. I think it's going to be really pretty. Very nice. All right. 2 more sections. You can see by looking at this, it's definitely looking nicely distributed, which is what I was hoping for. Okay. Nice. And the last section. Here we go. Here we go. And we are there. Looks awesome. Okay, there's that point there. Beautiful. And a little bit that kind of got pulled out. I'm just gonna like kind of hold it there and we'll go with it as we spin. But you can see there's definitely a little bit of silk here that's getting into the carder. So I'm trying to pull it out with this bat the best I can so that it doesn't go to just waste. But again, it's just like anything else. This was also a really good exercise in not being overly precious with the wool. There is, Melissa mentions this too, and it's just so incredibly true. There's always more wool. There's always more wool, and you should use it. Don't just let it sit on your shelf and be overly precious about it. I do understand they're an investment, but the investment is that you're going to use it, and if you don't use it, then it's just taking up space. Sure, it's pretty looking, but I feel like spinning it and then maybe knitting with it, weaving with it, whatever, or if you're spinning it is your craft and you're finished at that point. I hope that you do that. I hope that you use what you create because I think it's just so pretty and as I mentioned before, it's like it's beautiful to make the bats, and then when you spin it, it's beautiful to see it become yarn, and then to actually put it into a project. It's just another layer of making, and it's just so cool. You can do so much with one thing and experience all these different layers of making. I do enjoy slow craft. I do like the finished object, but getting to the finished object, I do really enjoy that process. And I really enjoy picking wool. I really do. I also enjoy washing wool. And I know Melissa was talking about like suet baths, and I do enjoy it. It's disgusting. It stinks. I mean, it is probably the foulest thing ever, but it's really cool. And there you are. After 3 passes, that is how I'm going to leave it. That is my final pass of day 12 of the Great Guts Adventure Burn Pile Wool with Sari silk, recycled Sari silk. So really fun, nice, distribution of color and texture. I think it's going to make a really cool yarn because this wool is so fluffy. It's going to be really woolen spun fluffy yarn, and then you'll have that texture throughout. It'll be really cool. Definitely follow along. If you guys are on Instagram, definitely follow me on Instagram at Multifarious Nature. Then when I spin these up, you'll be able to see what that looks like, as well as following me here on YouTube. I'll talk about it here too. So I hope you guys had a really good time. I hope this may have encouraged you to take on a unique experience of working with different wools, different blends, and just experimenting with all that we have access to and what you can blend, like bison and possum. Like, that's wild and really fun. So I hope you will branch out as well. And yeah, I hope you guys had fun. Thank you for joining me with the Great Guts Adventure. And until next time, take care. Bye.